Welcome back to the channel today. We're going to do part two of our axe mask. Well, that's hard to say sometimes, isn't it? Axe mask. It's all glued up now, as you can see. I've taken the supports off of it and all the clamps off of it, and there's how it's going to look put on the axe. This piece will fold over. Remember, we're putting a snap right here. All right, so remember that piece of our pattern that we cut off the edge from here to make our welt? Well, I've been using that. I've taken a look at it, and it basically, we know where the leather is inside there if we use this piece of the pattern again. I've taken what I normally use, a set of dividers. I've got a shim put inside of here, and I've just got it taped up because I know this is how I like to the spacing between the stitching that I like is you'll see it right there. So I have already started to take a look at this, and I have taken my dividers and I've kind of done a trial run down my piece here, and I kind of know where I want all the stitches from here, and I want to get it spaced out. And that's important. You know, you could just go through it right quick, take your dividers or whatever you're going to use. If you have a you know, a stitch wheel or whatever, you know, kind of equipment you have, I don't know. I don't have much. I done told you I'm just a pure amateur at this, but I'm going to use this to decide where my holes are going to go, and I've got it all figured out according to messing around with this part of the pattern. So I know where my stitches are going, and now all I'm going to do to figure that out is lay this up on top of my leather here, and then I am going to make sure I'm right up on the edge because that's where I want it, and that puts me about 1/4 of an inch off of this edge then. So I am going to use this as a template. I'm going down, and as you can see, that's putting holes right in the template there. So just follow these right along. That way they're going to be symmetrical. They're all going to be in the right place. I don't have to worry about misjudging any of it. And then there they are, all laid out on the leather, just like I want them. All right, I'll put some holes in this next. Stick around. We'll see that next step. When it comes to putting holes in the leather, I've tried a couple different ways. The best way I've come up with doing this is by using this. It is a Blue Hawk. It's Lowe's brand of a Dremel. And it's put on this little drill press stand or whatever you want to call it. But it works great for keeping these holes straight up and down when it goes through the leather. That way, you know, it may look good on this side if you're doing it by hand, but when you turn it over, some holes are close together, some are far apart, some miss sometimes. I mean, I'm just not that good. You may be, but I like to use this little drill press. This will be a little noisy, but we'll get these holes put in here pretty quick this way. Here we go. as you're going with this, if this is something you use, make sure you take your time. Get those holes straight. It looks so much better when everything just looks dress. When everything just looks the way it's supposed to. Well, that's all of them. Nice and pretty, evenly spaced, all drilled up. All right, let me get set up and we'll do some stitching. I just have a small vise here. Mounted that thing in there. Kind of like a makeshift stitching pony. Again, those are all straight. And I'm going to hold that one so I don't pull it out and pull the extra out. I'll go back in that next eyelet, snug that thing down, and in that same hole, I'm going to pull back on that. And I'm going to feed this other needle back through on this side. Now, this is going to be tighter, so I take my little pliers here. Let's pull that out. Once I get it started in through the other side, make sure everything's all straightened up. Take it and give it a little snug. All right. So back through that next hole. Pull it through. Don't have to worry about snugging it down or anything right now. Just make sure I pull it out of the way because I don't want to stitch through that other line from that other side or it'll never come through. Grab it. Pull it on through. Pull it down towards snug. Grab it. Pull her down. All right. We're almost to the end. I got a couple stitches to go here. I brought you back so you can see it finished up. Got a couple more here to do. Each time you go through one of them holes to stitch, make sure that you put the same amount of pressure on that line as you do through each and every stitch so it all looks nice. Alright, I'm back to where I started. I'm going to go back through that same hole again. It may require that you use pliers on both sides now when stitching that up. That last stitch or two. Make sure you pull that line back over though. You want to keep that line out of the way so you don't go through it. Right, that's back to the stitch that I started with. Let's go one or two more here because just maybe one more. And I'm going to come out. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to come out this next stitch between the two layers, between my welt and the layers of leather. Just take your time, get your needle kind of pointed in that direction. All right, let me take it out of here and show you what I'm doing. All right, on this stitch, I have went through another one in the series, so I'm double stitching it so it's strong in that area. But then I've taken and I have pushed my needle from that hole out through these two layers of leather here. So let's pull that out of there. Oh, and look there, I broke a needle. Not good. Not good at all. All right, there's the little piece of metal on the end of the be careful with these needles. After you used them a few times, they start to get brittle on you. You'll have them, you'll break them. That's why they come in a pack of 10. Um, all right, got me another needle. Be careful that you don't put right there on that eyelet. Make sure that you don't put no pressure from your pliers on your eye, or you'll snap them right there for sure. All right, so back through there again. Let's try this again. See if I can't pull it through there this time without breaking one. Now be careful. Make sure you're pulling straight on through when you pull them. That'll be another way that you break it. All right, so I'm back through that hole. Now I want to take the stitch that would come through the other side now and back through the next hole. I'm going to put it in that hole, and I'm going to come out in the same spot right there. So just kind of get it started, kind of hold it up down here at the tip with the, be careful, remember, don't put much pressure on that, but you may have to help it come out of there a little bit. All right, there we go, I got it started. All right, remember, pull straight out when you're pulling. Don't bend it one way or another. All right, now I've got that back through that hole right there now, and I've got both of those lines in between the welt now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie me a square knot right here. Then I'm going to burn the two ends right here in this spot, and we won't even be able to see where our knot is now. So here's where our stitches ended up looking like. There they are on this side, and then here they are on this side. Not too bad. You know, there's always room for improvement, but I think it looks pretty good. All right, we're going to smooth this edge up now, even it all up. Again, I'm going back to my little rotor tool here. Got a little sanding wheel on it there, and let's just level it all out a little bit. Make it look nice on this end. Just go slow. Don't bite too much off at time. It's a little dusty. And I find it's better to do this process with it dry than to get it wet just yet. Wash it all off in a minute before we put some type of protectant on it. All right, I think that's how we're going to leave it. It looks all smooth now. Everything looks good. Getting it damp everywhere just a little bit. Just a little damp everywhere. This leather will soak that water up. We're going to try to get our protectant all the way down in here, inside of here. We could have done this in the beginning. We could have tried to finish the inside first before we stitched it up, but no big deal. We're going to let this right now is already starting to dry off, but it's damp, and that's how this dye wants it to be. We're going to use the oil dye, Phoebe's oil dye. I'm just going to use a little craft sponge to put it on. I'm going to start by going through the inside here and putting it in on the inside, just opening it up here, getting all that down inside there as the best I can. Now I think that's going to work. I'll go over it right quick. Any excess that's on it anywhere. Smooth it around a little bit. It's not coming off there now. I like that oil dye. It seems to work a whole lot better than that water-based. All right, I got that wiped down now. So now I'm going to take some Phoebe's edge coat, shake it and do that a little bit. I'm going to take that same brush I just started with a while ago. It didn't have nothing on it hardly at all. Dip just a little bit in there, just the edge. And we just barely want to make sure we coat this edge. Not to get in a hurry about. You know, I know I'm not doing this to show you all that I do this perfectly or this is the way you should do it or whatever. You know, I'm doing this because I'm having a good time doing it. I want to share with some of y'all maybe if you don't have any fancy equipment, because you didn't see me use anything here. I got a couple of little old leather tools and that's all I got. Basically, I'm going to put this mask together to take care of my axe, and it'll probably last as long as I'm around here anyway. Probably give it to my grandson or my great-grandson by the time that comes around to it. And don't have to have a bunch of fancy tools, just some basic stuff. Got to have a cutting tool, something to cut your leather with, and you don't have to chamfer no edges. I mean, I got that edge tool, but I didn't really have to use it. I got I got 3 or 4 little old leather tools, and that's it. Nothing fancy. They cost me $4 or $5 a piece, and you know, gotta have something to cut leather with. Yeah, gotta have something to sew leather with, but you know, a couple needles and some type of heavy duty coated cotton or artificial sinew or whatever to sew it up with. I'm going to use a snap on here, and you can get a snap kit for under $10. But you know, I didn't have to. I could have put a hole in it, sewed a antler button on it or something, and used a leather thong in its place. You know, you don't have to put no money in this. I guess the biggest expense, if you're going to mess with the leather, is the leather itself. We have a guy local here that sells some pieces of leather every now and again out of a peddler's mall that we have here local, and I go down and pick up a little bit of leather every now and again when I need a new knife sheath, or I need an axe mask, or one of my boys need a gun holster, or you know, just whatever. Or my girls. I got girls too. And you know, we just make what we need and have a good time doing it, and that's what it's all about. But you know, here, I guess if I could pass one thing along to you about messing around with stuff. If you're going to do something, figure out what you're going to need. Whatever you're going to use that. It don't matter. If you change your mind midstream, change your mind. But do your best to make things look as good as you can. Take the time. These little be bits and pieces of time I'm taking here. Take the time to, not mess up this coating. But if you do and you're doing your best, so what? But the most important thing is have fun. Have a good time doing it. If you don't, then you don't need to be doing it in the first place, unless you just have to do it. Unless you just have to make things for yourself or your homestead or whatever. But if you're just a hobbyist and this is just something to do, and you're going to get frustrated at doing it, and you're not having a good time doing it, man, you need to just quit it and do something else. It's not worth the stress. It's not worth the heartache. It's not worth the money. If you're going to put any money into it, it's not worth putting no money into it unless you're enjoying yourself. I enjoy doing this. I try to spread a little bit of knowledge to my children and to my grandchildren. Help them do these projects every now and again, and they help me. And that's, to me, it's more than worth it to be able to spend time with them and them produce a product at the end of the day that's worth looking at and is enjoyable and to you and beneficial to you at the same time. And I've made a mess out of that stuff right there. I'll have to clean that up good in a little while, but I've got it all over me. Well, I'm going to have to pause here for just a few minutes. I've got to clean myself up. Also, I want to give these edges just a few minutes to dry and then see if I can't buff them out a little bit. Be right back. All right, I'm back. I have got a little burnishing tool that I made. Put a bolt through the end of a piece of wood burnisher. Put it on my little drill. I'm going to take just a little bit of beeswax. Just a tiny bit here. We don't want too much. Just a little bit on my finger. I'm going to run all around it just a little bit. Just a tiny bit all the way around. We don't want much of this on there at all. Alright, so let's get this in here. See if I can't get some of this done. I'm just going to run this. It's a little loud, I know. I'm going to run that in that smallest tool, smallest hole you can get that in there. I'm going to run that in there. Put a little pressure on it. Sometimes you got to support it a little bit on these thin ones. Kind of push in there hard. You want to put some heat on it. Heat's your friend right now. Smooth that down, work that beeswax in there. Harden up them edges just like it's doing. Working that whole edge. See how that's doing there? Rounding that edge over a little bit. It's making it hard. Plus it's working that beeswax into that end there. Keep working it here. Alright, and this corner here. Alright, on this corner, this big surface here on the end, it won't fit into none of this. Grab your tool handle or something that's got a rounded over edge. Just work that thing. Round over that edge just a little bit, but work it. Oh, look at that surface now. Man, that look good. Smooth. Won't hurt nothing. You get any beeswax up here. Matter of fact, I'll probably come in after this dries a little more. I'll probably put a coat of beeswax on there. Well, let's put a snap on. Let's start with this piece here. Let's put us a hole in there. For that, we'll slide a piece of wood up and under there. Take our hole punch. Work that around a little bit. Twist it. Work it around a little bit. I'll make sure that thing gets all the way through there. It looks like we have. Alright, so get that anvil in there. Get this piece put in here first. Oops, I dropped it. Alright, so we pushed it all the way through there. Now, male and female side to that. I'm going to use the male side for this one. Make sure it's up and under there. Slip the second piece over on that. Make sure it's set in there good. Make sure it's not moving around, sliding around. Make sure that's set in there good, and it looks like it is. Made good contact. Now, just double check before we put our axe in there, and make sure that when we pull that over now, we're right in the middle of that. Now's the time to make any changes, but it looks like our original hole is about right where it's supposed to be. So, get our cutter again out. We're going to cut that hole. All right, here we go again. All right, there's that second portion there. So, I'll go to the concave side of the anvil this time, lay that snap down in there, put our second piece down in there. Take our tool again, right down in there. Just hit it until it seats. You don't want to go too far, or you can mash it all the way through. And try to twist it, no twist. Seems like we got a good seat on it as well. Works. All right, let's see if it fits. Well, there we go. Even looks pretty good too, don't it? Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for taking time out to watch this two-part series. I know it was a little lengthy, but I hope that someone's got something out of this that you can take back and do for yourself. Maybe even start a hobby, who knows. But at least if you need something, you at least can fabricate something on your own to care for your axe or any other tool. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe, even comment. Have a nice day. God bless you. We'll see you next time.